guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday and I'm going to be cooking my Sunday dinner. So what I choose to do today is make this creamy mac and cheese, and the pasta that I'm going to be using is this brand of pasta. You can use any brand of pasta. I have my pasta here in the dish. This is about 2 cups of pasta, and I have the sweet potatoes here, have them diced as you can tell, and the carrots right here, the dice as well. This is about another cup of carrots. Okay, sorry about that, my battery just died. I think I left off with the carrots. So these are the carrots here, and the onions here, you dice about 1 onion. I have walnuts here, I have garlic, and this walnut is about 1/4 cup, and this is cayenne pepper, and this is smoked paprika. I'm going to also put this yeast in it as well, and I'm going to use a bit of almond milk unsweetened. So this is it. This is very delicious. If you want, you can always try this one day. Let me know how it tastes. You can add whatever you like in it. It doesn't have to be this. And the next thing, what I'm going to do is put the water on for the pasta and for the vegetables. Okay, these are the pots on here. This one here this one is for the pasta. I just sprinkle some seasoning in that, and this is for the the vegetables. So you make sure and put enough water in here. This is about 2 cups. I probably would need more, so that when you put in the vegetables, the water is above the vegetables so they cook evenly. And for the pasta, you cook pasta al dente. Alright, so there you go. And once this is boiled, I'll show you the next step. Okay, as you can see, my water is boiling, both of them. So this one is for the vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and put the vegetables in. First, I'm going to put my carrots. Then I'm going to drop my potatoes. Next, I'm going to drop the onions in. And as you can see, the water is above the vegetables. Alright, so you cook that until it's tender, and then you drain them. Next, I'm going to put in my pasta and let that boil as well. While this is cooking, you can always check your vegetables to see how far, to see if they cook. Alright, because once you cut them up to a certain size, a small size, they cook really easy, as you know. Alright, so I think that is fine. Okay, I think that's fine. So that is done. Let me turn that off. Then I'm going to be draining this. So what I'll do, I'll go in with this and take the vegetables out. Okay, so now I'm ready. It's kind of still hot, but which is okay, because what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put it in here to blend. So alright, so this is the water from the potatoes that I boiled. So I'm going to put this into the blending thing here, and I'm going to add the vegetables. This might be a bit too much for this, so this is a small blend. I'm going to put my garlic in this. And I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of this yeast. put 2 tablespoons. You put some of your paprika, just a little bit, and you put a touch of the cayenne pepper. Depends if you like it really spicy, innit? Alright, so next I'm gonna put my nuts. And if all of this can't fit, you put a little at a time. And I'm gonna cover this and blend. Alright, so I'm gonna add some more water to this. Put the rest of the nuts and add a bit more water, not too much. We just add maybe about a tablespoon or 2 of the milk. Yeah. And you can use whatever milk you like. Alright, then you put it back on. And your sauce is ready for your pasta. Okay? So now you can get rid of all the water that you boiled the potato in. Okay, I'm going to be using this dish, and as I'm going to be baking the macaroni, I'm going to be buttering the dish, just a little bit of butter, just so that it doesn't stick on the sides. And you can use whatever butter you like, any butter of your choice. I use this one. Alright, set that aside. I'm going to bring my pot over, and this is the pasta in here. So my next step is to take my creamy sauce, and I'm going to mix it in the pasta. And you mix it until you are satisfied with the amount. I think this is sufficient. I have enough sauce here that I could use for another meal. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Once you're satisfied with this, you pour it into your baking dish. Meanwhile you're doing all of this, make sure you have your oven on and preheating. And you can preheat your oven to 160. Alright. And the next thing, so what I did, I had some nutty bread, and I put 1 slice in the oven to dry out. I crush it in this tiny crusher. And this is my creamy mac and cheese. Alright, so now I'm going to put this in the oven, let it brown a bit on top and set, and this is going to be for my dinner. I hope you try this. Looks delicious, and not only look delicious, it tastes delicious. Alright, so I'll see you when I'm ready to do my beans. That is in a short while. Alright, so see you then. Okay, so the next thing to my dish are these beans. These beans are, what do they call it? Stringless beans. Yeah, stringless beans. They're very similar to string beans, those round ones, and you can cook them the same as far as I understand. So what you do, you just take off the ends they're all washed already. So you take the ends off. Alright, and then what you do, you could just break them up like this. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm just gonna do these for dinner with the creamy mac and cheese. It's delicious. Okay, so that's done. And when I'm ready to cook these, I'll come back and I'll show you exactly how I do these. Alright guys, for my beans, I'm gonna use this garlic, this amount of garlic here. As you can see, I love garlic. Garlic makes everything taste good to me. And I'm gonna use 1 red onion and 1 tomato and avocado oil, extra virgin avocado oil. I'm gonna peel these and dice them up. I'm gonna do the same to this, dice that up, and I'm gonna cut these in rings. So stay tuned and you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, so you cut the top off of your tomato. Get rid of that, make sure you wash everything. So next I'm gonna slice these onion this way. I like my onions in rings, so you can slice them any way you like. And I love a lot of red onions as well. Okay, so that's done right here. Next I'm gonna dice my tomatoes. And I'm gonna dice my garlic. My tomatoes, onions, and my garlic. And these are my beans right here. Let me bring this back a bit. Alright, I'm gonna heat my pan on a medium heat. I'm gonna heat that on a medium heat, and you're gonna put some oil and you just sprinkle a bit in it. Not too much, but just enough. Let that heat up a bit, not to burn, just enough so when you put in your ingredients they start like frying a bit. Next you put your garlic in. You let them stay until you smell the aroma of your garlic. You don't want your garlic to burn, so keep an eye on it. After that you put your onions. If you need to put more oil, you can add a bit more oil if you like. Cook your onions until they are tender. Sometimes you sprinkle a bit of soy sauce. Then you can add your black pepper. Now you can add your tomatoes. I didn't put a lot of tomatoes because I'm not a fan of tomatoes so much anymore. And you stir. And between the onions and the tomatoes, it will spring some water, so you don't have to really add water to this. So you let it sit and cook until the beans are soft. In the meantime, you can taste to see if you have enough seasoning in it. Yep, that's fine. Another thing I like to add is this sauce here, hot chili sauce, because I like spicy food. So I just put a little in this. Just squeeze a little into that and you mix it around. Yeah. And you cover this back, let it sit and cook for about 10 minutes, and you check again until you find the beans soft enough. Just took my pie out of the oven, and here is my pie. And the crumbs on top, if you can see, it's really brown and crispy. It looks as though it's really crispy. So I know this is going to be tasty. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to keep it covered. Close to this, you can see how much liquid is in this already, and I didn't put water. Check in, you don't want to overcook your beans. All right, let's check these beans. You see, they look as though they get in there, and I think they might be ready. Yeah, these are soft. Yeah. Alright, so these are done. They take about 20 minutes to cook. So these are done here. Alright, so you can try that. This is just right. You can add as much seasoning as you like, but what I put in is just sufficient for what it is. So I'm gonna turn the fire off, cover my pot. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be cooking is these chicken wings here. I had them marinating from last night, so you know they're well juicy. Alright, so obviously, as you know, when you have to cook chicken, you clean that thing properly and you season your chicken with your whatever seasoning that you like. My chicken marinate for overnight so that all the seasoning stays in. Right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to transfer these wings into a bigger dish, and I'm going to put it in the oven to bake. And once it's done, I'll show you. Just bake it at maybe 160 or 180 degrees and let it stay there and cook. And once it's done, I'll come back and show you the end result. Alright, so this is the dish that I have. It's a lot bigger than this one, so I'm going to be taking them out of this dish. Oops. And putting them into a bigger dish so that they have room to bake and cook properly. Alright, and with the juice, I'm going to take this juice and pour it on top of the chicken. But first, I'm going to add a little bit of water. and you can pour it onto your chicken. Right. Then I'm going to get a sheet of parchment paper and cover it. Right, so you take your parchment paper and you cover that. And once you cover that, you put it in the oven. Okay guys, I just took these out the oven here. And as you can see, they still have a bit of a gravy in it, but I want them to brown a little bit more, just tiny bit more, just maybe another 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll take this out, and then I'll be ready to dish it out, and you'll see my dish for the day. Alright, see you then. Alright guys, these are my wings. I just took them out finally. Alright, they're nice and golden and they're not dry, they're still juicy. So now I'm going to dish out my dinner. Okay, make my plate nice and clean. It was already clean, but just want to make sure. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to do the pie. I'm going to dish out the pie. Just going to use this spatula and I'll cut it around. Okay, so that's my first bit, and you can see how it is here. You can see how the pie, when I told you it will actually set in, you could see all the cheese, all the potato sauce looks just like cheese right around the edges here. Right? So next I'm gonna do the beans. These are my beans. So next I'm gonna do that. I think that's too much pie for me. I think that's too much pie for me right now. I'm just gonna share it so that you can see my plate.